"Just a waitress," he said loud enough for the table to hear. Laughter followed, like he'd earned it. I didn't flinch, didn't blink, but I remembered. I always remember. My tray floated between my palms, steady as ever. Champagne. Poisoned. But not the kind you expect. The general reached for his glass. I leaned in, low, precise. "Ne buvez pas ça." Don't drink that. He froze, eyes sharp, then softer. "Cipher?" he mouthed. I nodded once. 5 minutes later, the room shattered. Boots pounded marble, guns raised, orders barked. And General Klein, the same man who thought he could outmaneuver me, was face down on the ground, wrists twisted in steel. My brother stood frozen, glass in hand, color gone from his smug little face. That's when he realized I wasn't just the waitress. Eli and I used to be close. We grew up with scraped knees and matching scars. But somewhere between my deployment and his first promotion, he decided my silence meant weakness. He rose through politics, fast, slick, polished, with the kind of smile that made people lower their guard. And me? I disappeared into the shadows. By design. After my last op in Kiev went sideways, I stepped off the grid. Too many ghosts, too much blood. I wanted peace. So I told the agency I was out. Then I took a job at a cafe in D.C. Quiet, simple, clean. But peace is fragile when your past knows your name. It started with a missed call from Langley. I ignored it. Then came the coded message tucked inside a folded dollar bill in my tip jar. "He's not who you think." Attached was a photo. Eli, standing beside General Klein, shaking hands with a man I'd seen in an intercepted file years ago. Codename, Brimstone. International arms dealer. CIA target. Vanished in 21. Now, smiling, alive, and protected. I dug, pulled on old threads I swore I'd burned. Found a shell corporation tied to Eli. Then a flight log. Then a signature on a backdoor arms agreement disguised as security consulting. He wasn't just enabling Klein, he was laundering for him. Sanctioned weapons, stolen tech, slipping through U.S. borders like whispers in wind. All under diplomatic immunity. All hidden beneath his perfect suit and press smiles. And all traced back to Klein's network. One I used to study. One I knew how to destroy. I didn't cry, didn't scream, I planned. I requested clearance under a ghost alias. I reactivated my access through an old handler who owed me more than one life. Then I waited for the gala, the embassy's golden hour. Everyone important would be there, every name that mattered. And me? I'd be invisible. I slipped past security dressed in black slacks, white blouse, hair tied back. My name tag read Clara. No one saw Cipher. Except the general. He clocked me early, watched me glide past with glasses in hand. His eyes narrowed. But he didn't recognize the trap until it was far too late. The champagne I carried wasn't spiked. The documents I tucked in the general's coat pocket were. Real reports, real signatures, real evidence of international violations. With one drink, he'd toast his own arrest. Until I warned him. Ne buvez pas ça. Because as much as I wanted justice, I didn't want blood. Just truth. And I needed Klein. Alive. Panicked. Caught red-handed with classified evidence on his person. That was the key to unlocking everything. So when the military police stormed the ballroom, the documents were still warm from his inside pocket, and the warrants were airtight. Klein was arrested on the spot, but it was my brother I watched, his world cracking, his arrogance melting into horror. He tried to run, but I intercepted him by the door, still holding my tray. "Hi, Eli," I said. He blinked. Swallowed? "Clara?" he asked, voice shaking. "No," I said, calm. "Cipher." The agency took over from there. Eli was disbarred within days, stripped of every clearance, his assets frozen, his name poisoned. They couldn't charge him yet. Too many layers, but he was marked, watched, powerless, exactly where I wanted him. Now I'm back at my cafe, making coffee, pouring silence. But sometimes people ask why a woman like me would settle behind a counter, and I smile. Because power doesn't always look like a suit or a podium. Sometimes it looks like a woman in an apron, waiting, watching, and when the moment's right, striking. So yeah, he called me just a waitress, and I let him, until the world called me something else.